everyone. It is the me, Game Penguin 21, and if the audio sounds weird, it's because I'm not using my normal microphone today, because we have a special guest on the channel for this particular
Hello.
video.
Yes, I am here once again. It's been a
Yes.
while, hasn't it?
It's
What
been
was what was the last time? What was it? The
it
battle bit video that made me fucking lose my shit laughing.
was it the battle? I think I mean I've appeared on your channel a couple times since then, like one or two. But it was either Battlefront or was it no, was it the Elden Ring one? I think it was the Elden Ring one.
No, it was the Elden Ring one. That was the one.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forgot. I almost forgot about that one. It was
Dana,
the
yeah.
what was it? 5 reasons why I quit playing Elden Ring, and all of them
Absolutely.
just amounted to I have a
Yes.
skill issue and I don't want to admit it.
Yes. But today we have Reforge Gaming, as you can probably tell, and he is.
I mean, I made so far 2 videos on this. Sorry,
Yes, I have made.
sack of shit.
I have made more. Um, so the thing is, with Reforge, he says that he's not a Sony pony, but he clearly is. And what he's currently talking about right now in this one. By the way, I did get this clip from Astro Cyborg, so it's a little long. But
All right.
he's talking about PC day and date with PlayStation and how apparently that does not mean that exclusives are dead. So,
Well,
yes, very much so, very much so. I agree. But yeah, obviously I have to do the quick little shill bit, which is looking to hit 1K by the end of the year. We're getting closer and closer every day. If you want to support me in any other way, shape, or form, I have music of myself that I make down in the Bandcamp in the description, as well as my Twitch, twitch.tv/GamePenguin21, where I stream mostly on the weekends, but check the Twitter or the whatever when I advertise. Anyway, shall we get started?
might as well.
You said it yourself, you believe PlayStation could go full PC by PS6. Personally, I think so. Even if they do that, that doesn't mean exclusives have gone away. Your reasoning is not sound. It's flawed reasoning. Let's say that PlayStation goes day and date on PC in the PS6 era. Did anybody say that Starfield wasn't an exclusive? Did you say that? Were you at least consistent? Were you consistent? Did you say Starfield's not an exclusive? Did you say that? Did you say that Halo Infinite wasn't an exclusive? Did you say that Forza Horizon was not an exclusive? Did you say that? Because these Xbox is doing PC day and date releases for a while. And were you out here saying that Starfield wasn't an exclusive? So if PlayStation turns into that strategy by the time we get to the PS6 era, that doesn't suddenly mean they're not exclusives, because they're not landing on Nintendo, they're not landing on Xbox, they're still a PlayStation exclusive. And a non-competitive space, they're not competing with PC.
No. What? No.
Yeah.
That is what is bro on?
So, from my knowledge of Reforge Gaming isms, he's saying that it's no longer not a PlayStation exclusive because it's not landing on other platforms. That's that. But what I would also say is that people more often than not say that Xbox has also walked away from exclusives. You know how I know this? Because Reforge Gaming himself has said this in the past. I know that he said this in the past. We have the receipts that he said this in the past, where Xbox is going full third party and is no longer going to be worried about exclusives. So the consistency is not there.
This motherfucker seems to have the consistency of a rock quarry at this point, so... I mean, to be fair, considering my most recent video with him basically being one of the biggest hypocrites I think I've actually seen in quite some fucking time, I don't think this just comes as much of a surprise to me, but it still shocks me every time with just how dumb people can actually be.
Oh, yeah, no, he's not even... I don't even think that Reforge is actually one of the worst ones, because there's an entire spectrum of people who have these sorts of stupid opinions. I think the worst one probably is Mr. S-Class Gamer himself that I keep talking about. I
can never remember this fucker's name, to be honest. I just know him by that.
Yeah, King Thrash.
King Thrash. That's his fucking name.
He is very much how do I put this? his opinions are so dumb because he says things like volcano wing and you can land on gas giants and stuff. Like, you remember those things? That was him saying that.
Oh my god.
So, it's yeah. Anyway, but yeah, the Reforge Gaming is definitely not one of the worst, but he is the most hypocritical because he talks about everything. So,
If it's no longer on one platform, then it is no longer an exclusive by definition. It is multi-platform. I guarantee I would put $1,000 on the table that anybody talking like that, you've not been consistent. Guaranteed.
Well, give me all your money now, Reforge.
absolutely. I would also
Give me all your money right now, Reforge. Come on, fork it over. Fork it over. Fork over the pennies that you've made from the fuck asses that apparently watch your streams.
Absolutely. What I would also like to say on this is I love the goalpost moving of this that the Sony guys have done, because if I look back on the history, there were people out there that are saying like, oh, PlayStation will always have the best games and you will never see these on any other platform. And then it eventually started to move to, oh, well, then you could have some of our older games, but we don't fucking care because we get new games on our platform first, and that means that we are still awesome. And then if they go day and date, which they have proven with Helldivers 2 can be very profitable, they're like, oh, well, they'll just do it for live service games. And they just keep pushing and pushing it away. And I think Reforge is trying to push the current thing, which is where it is a, quote, console exclusive, which means that it's only available for the console side of things, but it's still available on PC. So it's like it's not coming to any other console. So.
I mean, if that's the logic that we're working with, then that just, I don't know.
It's annoying. It's annoying logic because they keep moving and moving and moving because they're like, oh, we got to keep it in the best place.
They have to constantly move that goalpost in order to try and make it seem like Sony actually gives a shit about them, when in reality, Sony cares just about as much as them as the ants outside of their fucking office.
Absolutely.
That you haven't been consistent, that you didn't refer to Starfield in this way, you didn't refer to Redfall in this way, you didn't refer to Halo Infinite in this way. Nobody was calling those games multi-platform. They were referred to as Xbox exclusives.
I don't remember that happening.
If you stayed that consistent this entire time, good for you. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if you were pedantic about the word exclusive for the last 4 years, because we all know what it means.
Okay, so now he's basically just stating, oh, even if you are consistent, well, I'm just going to make up something even more arbitrary right now in order to make sure that I don't lose this bet. What is this? Come on! Are you even trying to hide it anymore, buddy?
I also love that he's calling other people out for being pedantic, yet when he gets even the slightest amount of saying, hey, here's evidence that you were pedantic and hypocritical, he's like, no, I didn't say that. Yeah, it's funny.
It is really all over the place. That's really all I have to say. It is just so all over the place.
I know that I've said this for like years at this point, saying that if they did bring their stuff day and date, they could make a lot of money. There is like a lot of money to be made on the PC, because people are like, oh, we have the PlayStation gets like, oh, we have the most amount of people buying the most amount of games on our stuff, and the stuff that they bring up, things like piracy on the PC, things like cheaters on the PC, things like PC gamers just don't buy games, which is kind of the same thing, but it's like, dude, you're not only wrong, but you're wrong in a way that makes it infuriating to debate you, because you convinced yourself that you are the best place to play, even though you're not. So,
like, we all know what it means when someone said that Starfield wasn't exclusive. If you want to straighten your glasses and say, but it's not really an exclusive, it's a multi-platform, you just make yourself uninteresting to talk to, because that's not a worthy discussion to have. There's no substance to it. It doesn't mean anything. It's like, okay, so it's a console exclusive. Congratulations, you got me to use an extra word. It still conveys the same thing. It's an exclusive to that brand. It's not touching other brands. It's not on Nintendo. It's not on Xbox. Like, it's still an exclusive. The word still works because it's exclusive to that brand.
I think this also shows how stupid the English language is. You can have that
Yeah,
weird
the
interpretation.
English language is by far one of the dumbest things to ever have been created. I don't remember where I read this, but I think someone once described the English language as like 3 different languages wearing a fucking trench coat.
I've also heard that from someone else as well, where it's like 3 different languages in a. But he is still wrong in the definition because I looked up the definition of exclusivity or exclusive. It means that it's centralized and it's taking out specific audiences, essentially, to use it in a marketing sense.
Yep. And the moment that it goes to other audiences, i.e. going from specifically one console to now going over to PC, that doesn't make it exclusive anymore, by definition.
By definition. Because even if you say that it's a console exclusive, that implies that only people on the console could play it, which is, again, not true, which is why I find that stupid. And I've said this so many times, but the one biggest thing that I think was the worst misstep for Sony for a while was keeping their like VR headset to their own PlayStation thing, which is why I was super excited when they were testing out PlayStation VR capabilities on the PC, right? Because the thing is, when you have a product that is exclusive to one market and you have a smaller market to work with, as someone who's worked in the marketing space, that is practically shooting yourself in the foot for 2 specific reasons. One, you limit the audience and you limit the growth of that product over time because you have an immediate cap on your market, right? So if you have, say, 2 million people here and 2 million people in a different place, but you're going for only the 2 million without giving you a pathway to the other 2 million, you're immediately capping and having your market. And 2, is that market cap, you will reach it quicker than you think you will. Because those 2 million people, not everyone's going to buy that. Because you might have, say, even half of that is technically profitable, or technically more than you would think it would be. So half of the 2 million would be the 1 million, and that's what you should realistically expect, is around half your market to do that. So if you have more, you get more money. It's like, people should know this.
Like, if you want that credit and you want that badge that, like, I never referred to Starfield as an exclusive, good for you. The lion's share of the community has not been consistent on this. Nobody said this. Nobody postured this. Nobody argued this. Now, sure, there might have been really hardcore ponies that argued Xbox doesn't get exclusives anymore. They're always PC day and date. And you know they're trolling, and you know they're arguing in bad faith because they're farming clicks and they're having fun. They're not being serious. They're not being intellectual, reasonable, or well articulated. They're just trolling for clicks. If there were ponies out there saying that, sure. I've always thought if it's exclusive to a console, it's an exclusive. Helldivers 2 is an exclusive as much as Starfield is an exclusive. Because you got to go to that brand to get it.
No, you do not, because they're available on Steam as well as on, well, whatever storefront they were originally released on. So, false.
Yeah,
You're false. You don't have to go to those storefronts because it exists on Steam as well, you forehead.
Again, that's like, and also he brings up how ponies are trolling and they shouldn't be taken seriously. So you mean like yourself? You know? How you were saying that as well, and like you're also like, I love how you can take his own words, not even modify them, and then use them against him with evidence. Like, it's so funny.
It's called projection.
Well, yeah, no, obviously it feels like it's projection, but I love the argument when someone says, "Oh, X and Y is bad because of Z and X," and then if you literally just swap around like the X, Y, Z, and X stuff, and you swap those around, and you can use that and apply that to the same person, or the person who you're debating, that's a bad argument, right?
Exactly. It is a argument with a foundation of quicksand.
Yeah.
And if you're like, well, I don't have to on PC, yeah, PC's not a brand. It's a platform. It's an open platform. You're not going to a brand.
Oh my god, are you fucking stupid?
Oh,
Are you
jeez.
is this man there? I refuse to believe that I share oxygen with a man lacking this many brain cells.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. No, why do you think that? Why do you think that? I'm actually curious.
PC is not a brand. Sure, by definition, no it fucking isn't. But as we already explained earlier, since it exists on other platforms and other brands, Steam is owned by Valve, which is a brand, mind you,
Mm-hmm.
therefore your argument is false. Clearly you don't fucking pay attention to literally fucking anything, Reforge. Maybe for once, stop fucking snorting your Reforge roast every single morning in order to give yourself that energy boost, and maybe you spare some brain cells during your streams.
Yeah, I think that I also think that he's wrong in saying that PC isn't a brand because PC has a lot of brands attached to it. It's not a centralized brand. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
like I said, by definition, PC by itself is not really a
yeah,
brand per
yeah,
se,
you
but it
buy
has a lot of brands just stuck
yeah.
to it, and
I
that's how it
I think
works.
that like PC is like the Formula One race car, you know, where you can put like all sorts of brands and stuff inside and around the actual car, but the car itself isn't a brand; it's a platform. If that makes sense.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So yeah, like that's stupid. And even like with his definition saying like, oh, PC is not a brand; it's a platform, and you still have to go to those brands for it. Again, it's like that's like saying because I can buy, I don't know, say the finals, I guess that the finals is exclusive. No, that doesn't make sense. Um, you know what I mean? When you're buying a game for your PC, that's like not, you still have to go to the brand for it. Therefore, it's an exclusive. Like that's
And funny enough, you're still giving the brand your money. You're still giving Xbox your money when you go to Steam. You're just giving 30% to Steam because they're the platform.
you could make that argument with with the Xbox store.
You can't say not on PlayStation but not exclusive. Yeah, it's just confusing. It's like I'm not gonna check myself every time I have these discussions to make sure I say console exclusive. That's a waste of time. There's so much frivolity in that. Like, let's have a discussion instead of like word checking somebody. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like people that are you gonna grammar check everybody in chat to make sure they're using the comma properly? That's just as worthy of our time. It's not worth debating.
Well, I mean, it clearly is if you're going on for this long
Clearly
about
is.
it.
Yeah, it clearly is worth debating if so far you've went on a 4 minute and 40-second long tirade about shit that you now have again, it's just like every other fucking Reforge clip that I've
Yeah.
seen where he said, "Oh, but it doesn't matter." Oh god. Oh, but it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, I'm still gonna go on a fucking tirade about it because it clearly matters a lot to me, and I cannot shut up about it.
Yeah. This is also one of the reasons why I stopped using the terminology of like I don't care in a lot of my videos and a lot of my stuff, saying like, oh, I don't really care about this. It's like obviously I care, because if I didn't care, the video wouldn't get made, and if I didn't want the video to be made, it just wouldn't do that. Like there's been a ton of videos that I've just like lost steam on because I stopped caring about the end bit, or I stopped caring about the topic somewhere along the lines.
And that's just
It's
kind of me when it comes to like talking about fucking Harmon Smith. Like at this point, I only talk about him when there is absolutely nothing else to really even make a video on. If I don't have anything else to talk about, if I don't have anything else that I could be working on, if I don't have like a so I streamed planned, if I have absolutely fuck all planned, then I'll go like, okay, let's see what the fat man has to say today.
The question would be, with a live service game, does PlayStation see different rules for a PlayStation exclusive live service game? Do they see different rules? Do they say, you know what, maximizing player funnel is more important than maintaining exclusivity to our platform? That's a better question than, can you use the word exclusive, for crying out loud? Like, let's have a real discussion about something that I don't think is happening. But again, stranger things have happened. Nobody envisioned a world, except for people that understood what the ABK deal was about, Nobody envisioned a world where Xbox was putting their games on other platforms.
What?
Okay.
Don't
First
rip.
of all, number one, I highly doubt that his reading comprehension skill is actually that high to even understand what the ABK deal is, so I'm putting a heavy doubt on that one. But also, second of all, why didn't you just start with this talking point? If this is the more important thing, why didn't you start with it?
I mean, yeah, but he wanted to just rant about how PlayStation will never go day and date because it's still an exclusive thing. Because he still sees that PlayStation thinks that they can get away with getting exclusives out of their stuff, which they possibly can. It's gonna be a hard struggle bus, but at the
Yeah,
thing is,
eventually they're gonna have to go day and date if they actually want to maintain any level of, like,
I
I
don't
guess,
even I don't even
he,
think it needs to be like a maintained thing. I think that at the
like, if
underst-
they, like, honestly, if they just want to even increase, if they want to just reach out even more, then day and date would probably just be the much better option here.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Like I said before, you have a section of the market that you're aiming for. But if you want your product to grow, to get more money, to reach a wider audience, you need to have growth plans out to other markets. It's, I think the weirdest example that I can give is, say, like Bluey or My Little Pony, right? Both of those are shows for little kids. Specifically, MLP was meant for little girls, right? So answer me the question as to how is it that adults find value in that show, right? And it reached out very wide. The reason being, and the reason I can explain, is because it fundamentally was built that way on accident, but still, had the substance to really pull people in, right?
I mean, that would probably be my best guess.
Yeah, and then when you have an exclusive to that, like, and you only have the certain amount of growth, like I said before, you're kneecapping yourself out the gate because there's only so much amount of money that you can do. That's again to bring in the earlier examples, the PlayStation VR 2, the exclusives argument for that. Like, Helldivers 2 has proved that day and date with PlayStation games is there. Even the porting of years later has sometimes doubled or even tripled the amount of money that they could have made. Kind of. Like, I know that for like Death Stranding, it made its numbers on PlayStation, but that's like a smaller game, but it made the same numbers, like it doubled the sales or something like that. Or the sales. Point being, when you have a bigger market to work with, you have more breathing room to make more money.
In order to have a conversation, you have to agree on definitions, or else what the F are you talking about? Right, but Ravenous Poro, I don't accept people coming in and disrupting the conversation to be like, well, it's not really an exclusive because it also landed on PC. Context defines the meaning of the word, not you being pedantic and straightening your glasses. The context defines the meaning of the word. Just like you can use the word. Just like
Well,
you
that's
can use
fucking
the
rich.
word.
Yeah.
Because by the context of the words here, PlayStation isn't going to be exclusive.
Yeah. Again, I think
We have to agree on definitions here. Basically, what he's saying is that, no, I'm never going to agree on any definitions because everybody else's definitions are very clearly correct, but I just need to make sure that I bury my heels in the sand so much so that no one can actually dig me out and I drown in the next hurricane.
This reminds me of like a clip from SAO Abridged where it's like the advice that Asuna's mom gave her is like, whenever you are going up against someone, you dig in your heels and you stand your ground. It's like, isn't that why they're getting divorced? Shut the fuck up. So yeah, it reminds me of that. Just dig in your heels.
Blind in many different ways. Put the blinds up. That's a blind corner. It's a blind date. That person is blind. That word changes in every single one of those sentences. So when I use the word exclusive in a sentence attached to Helldivers, I don't have to explain that. I don't
Yeah,
need
you
a footnote.
do.
I
Because
mean,
it's not exclusive.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing again with the English language, and why I get so up people's ass about specific spellings. Like, have you ever seen the your debate about that and how infuriating it is to me whenever someone says, "Oh, you're," but the Y-O-U-R, and it's not Y-O-U-R-E. It's like you're doing this Y-O-U-R. It's like, or it's. But even in the example that he gave, right, where people are blind to something, right, and how that changes context depending on sentence structure, the definition doesn't change, right? It doesn't. Because when you're saying that someone is blind, that means that they can't see what is being presented to them, whether metaphorically or physically. They still can't see it. Much like how Reforge is blind to the fact that he is being a fucking hypocrite again.
Yep.
He just can't
He has
see.
glasses, yet he still can't see.
Exactly.
I don't need a footnote. I don't need an asterisk. You know what I mean. And if you don't know what I mean, you're being willfully ignorant. Everybody knows what we mean when we call Starfield an exclusive. No one's like, huh? What do you mean? Everybody knows what we're talking about. Because
No.
No one has
We
said
fucking
Starfield is an exclusive though. Like, I've
Nobody
never
has
heard of
ever
that.
said that Starfield is... Maybe you're the one that's dumb enough to say that Starfield is an exclusive, but no wonder people would be asking what you mean by Starfield is an exclusive. No wonder people would be asking that, because no one in their right mind would say that.
Yeah, and the people that would say that is like the Xbox people. Like, I've seen a couple Xbox guys saying like, "Oh, this is an Xbox exclusive or an Xbox produced game now." So, like, this is why sometimes I don't really like talking to about Reforge's stuff, because he just has these stupid, dumb takes where he is clearly trying to debate a point and make the other person look stupid, yet he himself looks stupid. It's
the context defines the word. This is like English language 101. This is language 101. This isn't even English. This is just how you study language. If you're studying some other language and you're like, what does this word mean? You would study the surrounding context to decide what it means. And when someone refers to Helldivers as an exclusive, you know the surrounding context of that game. You know exactly what that person means.
no. just
No.
Because here's
Listen, you can't just make shit up and expect people to understand what drivel you're saying.
I understand what he's trying to talk about, and that is to use the surrounding context around the conversation when you're talking about games in this context. But with other languages, there's a lot of specific rules that happens to be followed a lot. Like, I think to use the simplest example is probably Spanish, since everyone knows Spanish, or a lot of people know Spanish.
I certainly don't.
Okay, well, there's a
I
thing
think
in
I know a
Spanish.
handful of words, and that's about it.
There's a
I can,
thing,
like, greet people, and that's the extent to my knowledge.
There's a rule in Spanish called conjugation. I believe it's called conjugation, where you either do it to male, female, and then like general, as well as there is formal and then casual types of rule sets, and it's like very rigid, kind of. But overall, when you use like usted, elle, hello, and then elas, it's like they all mean kind of the same thing. They're talking about like a person or a general group, but they're used in different contexts, and it's very easy to read. For English, you kind of need that same context, but what he fails to realize is that you need the surrounding homework context, in the sense of knowing the general state of the market, right? And who the fuck has that encyclopedic knowledge other than, like, myself, who is, like, an extreme person who is very on top of news. So.
And the thing is that, well, any kind of homework knowledge that he does have, well, he'll just say that his dog probably ate it.
True. I think that's the end of that clip. So, having covered this man very smallly, what is your opinions on him so far?
Well, put it very simply, he's probably right up there with, like, some of the dumbest people that I think I've covered so far, and that is saying something. I might have to go back and, like, change my fucking answers on the fucking Q&A at this point and, like, say, never mind, I think Reforge is probably one of the dumbest people I've covered so far.
Yeah, no, again, I've covered him at least a number of times now, because he tries to come off as an intellectual, which is the whole problem that I tend to have with him, where he says, like, oh, I do really good stuff, and everyone else is garbage. I think in a different clip that I was talking about, he was talking about integrity in the gaming media, using himself as, like, the tentpole example of, like, I am the integrity of the gameplay media, even though he's said Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was awesome because they had, like, an entire roadmap and they were actually going to make it, and the game was actually fun. Now, the game being fun is neither here nor there, but that it was a good game, no. Like, objectively speaking, there was several problems and a lot of issues with the games that he just completely fucking ignored. So,
overall, just flawed logic and extreme hypocrisy, pretty much his, from what I'm seeing.
Okay. You kind of lagged out there for me. Oops.
Oh, that was... okay, then. Well, fun.
Yeah.
I have no idea how much of that you even got,
Yeah,
but...
I heard that he had extreme something. Like,
flawed logic and extreme hypocrisy.
Yeah.
That just seems to be his brand.
Pretty much. I think that'll about do it, though.
Well, I mean, hey.
Yeah.
Glad to be around for yet another video, huh?
Absolutely. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching this episode of I Decide to Yell into a Microphone because it's stupid.
I think that was more me this time.
Yes. If you like what it is that I do, like I said, so like and subscribe stuff down in the description. My music is also down there, as well as, again, I stream on Twitch. Yeah, my name is GamePeng21, and a peace. Off.